Hello you beautiful people. Today's video is a little different. I'm not sure whether my stream went live or just didn't record, but for 2 hours I played Last of Us, narrating what I was doing while playing the game and taking pictures. After I'd said my goodbyes and wished you all a great weekend, I saw the message, failed to load, please try again later. All I have is a screen recording of me editing the pictures for Instagram. So here we are. A man with very limited editing knowledge about to talk you through my process of going from this to this. When I take a picture, I like to roll my images 90 degrees before capturing them. To my mind, this allows me to keep as many pixels as possible whilst cropping for Instagram. So once I get a composition I like, I'll rotate and rebalance before taking the shot, knowing that I'm going to lose some of the top and the bottom of the shot. If you can, zoom out slightly after composing your shots so you have some room to play with when cropping your image. More often than not, I'll set the aspect ratio and that's all I need to do. But with this picture I didn't have space to zoom out when I composed the shots, so it needed rebalancing. First I tried using the horizontal thirds to set up the fore, middle and background. I then tried placing Joel, the flag and the destination on the intersections. And a quick check of this, and I decided I preferred the first composition. So I reframed and looked at it again to make sure it was balanced. When I took this shot, I added a spotlight on Joel to illuminate his backpack and shoulders, helping him to stand out more. I now needed to make this seem more natural. You will often hear me say in my videos I flatten the contrast, and this is what I mean. I reduce the highlights and raise the shadows by 25, which brings the details out. Have you ever taken a picture in a bright area only to find the light covering some of the details that made the image great? This is what photographers call a blown out image, and a good way to fix this is to reduce the highlights instead of the exposure. If the opposite happens and the shadow is hiding the details, then raising the shadow will bring these back out. If I'm honest, I probably shouldn't be so rigid on setting them to 25, as a picture should dictate what's needed, but it's a good starting point and I can always readjust after setting the whites and blacks if needs be. I'm still experimenting with this part of the editing process. At first I was adjusting the whites and blacks on every photo, but now I'm trying to work out whether I only need to adjust one of these, say reduce whites or raise blacks on a bright image. On this image I increased the whites to enhance the overall light coming through the window, making it more plausible that some of it is spilled onto Joel, and then deepening the black slightly to bring the details back before raising the overall brightness using exposure. Computer games are always highly saturated to give them that wow factor, but that's not what I'm going for with my images. I want a more contemplative mood for my pictures, which is why I choose to wash them out. Reintroducing the colour back into this photo, I normally judge the level by my feelings rather than aiming for a set look. For this image I tried something different. I started increasing the saturation, then I had the idea of boosting the midtones first by raising the vibrance to allow me to reduce the saturation where I wanted it. Joel became lost in the image. I needed to boost his saturation, so I chose the green to bring out his shirt and backpack, and then brightened them with luminance to make them truly stand out. The image was a little too bright. I reduced the exposure by 1, which is barely perceptible change, but with the darkening of the vignette it brought the lighting down to where you would expect it for an indoor scene. And vignette is another setting where I judge the level by feel. If my eyes lock on to where I want the viewer to look, I know I've got it right. And I only add a small amount of vignette to have this effect, but you can actually use it to create a strong frame for a more stylized image. This was more of a deep dive into my editing process, and I still have a lot to learn, and I'm sure there are more efficient ways to achieve the look I'm going for, but learning a new skill is a part of the joy of virtual photography. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did to help get this video to others who may need it. I stream every Friday 8 PM GMT, so you're more than welcome to join me. And remember, we say goodbye so we can say hello again. So goodbye.